Welcome back. Now, this clip, we're going to start diving into the CloudWatch Dashboard capability under Operations Management. Now, a CloudWatch Dashboard here is essentially a customizable page or a dashboard that allows us to view CloudWatch metrics and alarms. Now, I'm not going to dive into this too much in detail right now, but let's just go ahead and check this out. So I can create a dashboard here. We'll give it a name. Let me create dashboard, and there we go. We have now created a Pluralsight dashboard. We're going to learn CloudWatch dashboards a lot deeper and in a lot more detail later on in this course. So for now, just bear with me, and we're just going to walk through this so you can see what it does. Now I'm going to click line here. I'll click on configure. We can give our graph a title, and then we can see we have our metrics. So I can look at the different metrics within this region, because remember, CloudWatch is a regional service. So what I can do here is I can go to S3, just for an example here. I can look at my logs directory that I have and my number of objects. Let's just do number of objects for now. And if I had some data that was being reported, we would see it up here at the top on this graph. Now I don't have anything here, so let me go ahead and switch this to number just to be sure. And there you go. You can see we have nothing in this bucket. But what this would allow us to do is create this widget, and now it's on our dashboard. So make sure you always save your dashboard when you're done. I've done it before where I've created this beautiful dashboard, and then I forgot to click save, and all of my work was lost. So really be sure to save your dashboard whenever you edit or create it. So now what we could do from here is we could view many different metrics in a single pane of glass, all under Systems Manager. And if we see something out of whack or out of the ordinary, we could go into Ops Center and then resolve some of those issues if they're occurring. So this portion really allows us to have an extremely flexible and customizable display for viewing our source data about metrics and alarms within our accounts. Now the next thing we have here is Trusted Advisor and Personal Health Dashboard. Now Trusted Advisor is going to compare all of your AWS resources to the AWS recommended best practices. So you can see that it scanned my account for 55 of my resources. There's no problems detected. We have 0 investigations recommended. And then we have actions recommended. So if I view all check details here, it brings me to Trusted Advisor. And you can see I have a security group that was just showing up for unrestricted access. So I created a security group that allowed internet traffic from anywhere for a demo that I was doing previously. So that's why it's picking that up. So if I expand this, you can see I have tons of security groups down here, and a lot of them are recommending investigation, but then I do have the defaults that are left in place, and this is a best practice to erase default security groups, by the way. But these are allowing RDP traffic from anywhere, so that's why they're flagged. And this is all viewable under one service within Systems Manager. The next thing we see is Personal Health Dashboard. So this is where if AWS was having events that affected your resources' health, like maybe they had an S3 outage, which has happened before in North Virginia, it would show up here. Or maybe they're having a ECS or IAM related issue and it affects your accounts, they're going to show up within this dashboard for you to view. So if I go to View All, you'll see it brings me to Personal Health Dashboard. And this is an idea of what you might see. Now these are all closed and completed, so there's nothing showing up on our dashboard. These are all in the past. So you can see we had a CloudFormation operational issue. We can go in here and look at the details. And if needed, we could look at affected resources. So if I had CloudFormation templates and stacks deployed, it would list my affected resources here so I could be aware. There's EC2. We can see it was resolved, the timestamps when they happened and were resolved. If there was any affected resources, once again, and you can see the list goes on. It's for any service in AWS. So that's going to do it for this section on the Operations Management Capability section. We'll go ahead and we're going to wrap up this section and then move on to Application Management in the next upcoming clips. All right, welcome back. So now that we have a grasp on operations management and the different capabilities, let's dive into application management. Now, this is a suite similar to operations management that allows us to manage our actual applications that we're running in AWS. Now, the first thing we're going to see is there's resource groups. And if you call back to that earlier clip, we discussed how resource groups allow us to easily organize our resources in our account. And you'll see why that's important coming up. The next tool that we have is app config. Now, app config is going to allow us to create, manage, and deploy app configs to our resources. This essentially allows us to have controlled deployments of our app to most compute resources in AWS, like EC2, Lambda, or ECS containers, for example. And then our final capability within this suite is we have parameter store. Now, parameter store provides us secure hierarchical storage for secrets and data management. So for instance, we can have usernames stored as a parameter, and then we can have that username's password as a secured parameter that's encrypted. And we'll explore this in depth in its own clip coming up shortly. Now, let's go ahead, we'll break here, and then when you're ready, we'll pick back up in the next clip where we're going to start diving into the console and exploring each of these capabilities.